Good morning, SOAR attendees. How are you this morning? I'm Hilda Legg, and they say that TenTalks are for people to talk about something they are passionate about. Well, let me tell you, I am passionate about rural broadband. It's just going to be hard to tell you all about it in 10 minutes, but let's get started because it is really important. Because I want to tell you something, the digital divide in eastern Kentucky is real. If you don't believe me, take a look at the map. This could be any part of eastern Kentucky. It happens to be around the southeastern portion. The red dots are those who do not have broadband. The green dots are those who do have broadband. Now, how can it be that on one side of the road, there's a green dot, they have broadband. On the other side of the road, they don't. Or that could be on one side of the county line, there's a green dot. And then there's a bunch of red dots on the other side of the county line. What eastern Kentucky has, ladies and gentlemen, are the haves and the have-nots. And we cannot permit that to stay. There's been 2 rounds of funding from the Kentucky Broadband Office, and you're going to hear from our Valiant leader, Megan Sandos, a little bit later in this session. And she will talk about the money that will be coming, but in those 2 rounds, let's look at what the 5th Congressional District counties received.
What's included in your
56 projects, 7 of them went to our region. Out of $196 million, we got 29.7. That 29.7 passed 7,282 homes and businesses, while the total state had 42,631 homes and businesses pass. Now, that's a good start, and we're grateful for the Kentucky Broadband Office and General Assembly providing those funds. But that is not enough. We cannot bring ubiquitous high-speed broadband connectivity to all of the deserving families and residents of eastern Kentucky if we don't step up, create the projects that can compete. And let me tell you, some of those of you in this audience as leaders did, and there were some projects that didn't get funded. So we're going to be working to make sure that those happen in the next round. But in general, I want to talk to the leadership of eastern Kentucky, because in the beginning of the next year, in 2024, the National Telecommunications Infrastructure Administration, NTIA, will be sending $1.1 billion to Kentuckians. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a billion with a capital B. Never before in the history have we ever had this amount of money come to our state to build broadband to our citizens. We must be ready. How are we going to compete? Now, I'm going to tell you, first of all, it's not going to be easy. Don't even mean to imply that at all. But I've got a couple of suggestions I think we need to follow. One of them is we need to get to work right now, maybe yesterday. And secondly, we need to have assertive leadership. We need to have our leaders stand up, speak out, study, learn it, know what your ISPs need, internet service providers, to come to your community. You need to get involved. You need to be proactive. And when I talk about leaders, sure, I'm talking about elected leadership. I'm talking about civic leadership, cooperative leadership, education leadership, business leadership. I'm talking about you, each and every one of you, because if there is no broadband up the holler that you live on, then you become that leader to make it happen. Proactive leadership, because we cannot, ladies and gentlemen, wait for the publicly traded companies to bring us the project and to bring our internet to us. Now, the publicly traded companies have a mission, just like we should have a mission, and that is to make a profit. And so it is natural that they are going to follow the lines that makes business sense to them. But what happens is they build a line over here of broadband, they build a line down here, they build a line over here, and then you have these holes. Right over here is 14 families. Right down here is 20 families. Down here is about 17 families. Eastern Kentucky begins to look like Swiss cheese With all of these holes, how are we going to plug those holes? Assertive leadership, thinking outside the box, standing up, speaking out, and let's not settle for less. Our Eastern Kentucky families do not deserve less than true high-speed broadband. Number two, we have to go to collaborate and aggregate. You have to be able to rise above the county lines. You've got to be able to take those 17 families, 14 families, 20 families, whatever those regions are, and build them together, connect the dots, and put a project together that you can then try to get an ISP to come in and help you with. So you've got to begin to look. You've got to go above the county line. You got to go above the city and the county, or this county and that county, and again across the state line if you have to. But pulling, aggregating the folks who need it. Look for the hungry communities. Who's wanting it? Who's ringing your phone off of the hook about it? Who's wanting to really have a call center in their little community? Or maybe they're trying to develop a beautiful part of our mountainside where folks from all over the country want to come and live in our Appalachia, but they cannot do it. And they cannot bring their own very high-paying job and help put taxes back in your local community if they do not have a broadband connection. Working together, rising above, and making that happen to fill in those holes. Innovate and invest. Yes, federal dollars will come, and Megan will give you more information on that, I'm sure, and I'm hopeful that a large percentage of that will be a grant dollar, okay? But there's still a local match. Now, I know we say, well, we never have enough money. We have floods, we have housing needs, we have all those things. Absolutely true. But if you can begin to think about creatively, maybe there is a pot of money, maybe there's a bond issue, maybe there is a one-time fee. When your local community invests, and by the way, leaders, have you created a broadband board in your local community? You have a water board, maybe a hospital board, a rules and ordinance board, zoning board. A broadband advisory board can bring people together to help you. Leaders need support. They need help. They need workers. They need folks to think and help them through the process. And so if you have those folks, then you can think about how can we, other ways that we can help. Because if you buy into that community, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. You own it. The value of it is important. You will help sell people on accessing it and paying for services. And it's a part of your community. And so you also have other ways. Are there ordinances that are barriers to an ISP, an internet service provider, coming into your community? Are there right-of-way issues that you could help them with? Do you have a really good relationship with the electric company? Maybe you could help get that pole cost down some. Ways to bring the cost down to fit inside the funding levels that will be presented and bring that project. And you know what? If you don't have an ISP that's in your area that wants to work with you, recently, I had a group that was looking at a number of options, and we actually had 3 in-state ISPs come and talk to them, and 4 out-of-state ISPs that came and talked to them about trying to partner with them. So come together, work together, think about what you can invest and what you can give to someone, and think outside the box, and then lastly, build partnerships. You know, partnerships aren't easy. They're kind of like marriages. They're pretty hard. But I sort of think at the end of our life, when we look back on the people who helped us through all of our struggles, the ups and downs, the health issues and everything else, that partner is going to be one of the best parts of our lives. That and our children. So when you try to bring partnerships together, and it can be all kinds of partnerships. It should be your electric cooperatives, your telephone cooperatives. It should be your neighbors across the street in another county. It should be ISP providers. It should be business leaders. It should be corporation leaders. It should be those who want to help you, because partners give you support. They help you with the risks. They share the risks. They share the challenges. And you know something else? They help you share resources. And partners are a whole lot more fun to celebrate with when you make that success. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing more important to the future of Eastern Kentucky, this home that we love, our Appalachia home. We will not prosper without true, ubiquitous, high-speed internet. please join with the partners that have been mentioned today, SOAR, Connected Nation, the Center for Rural Development at Telecom. We are all here to help you and many other partners as well. Give us a call. Thank you for all I know you are going to do, and have a great day at SOAR. Thank you very much.